I'm sorry that you feel this way about us, but we love our children with everything we have. We've never went without, thanks to Summer's daddy and my husband. He's always provided for us and has worked as much as he could and can and still is. And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Ever.
What does that mean, Candus? No one would ever treat her that way if I was around. What way? What way did somebody treat her when you weren't around? Are you talking about when you walked down to Fred Hills?
My heart. I'd do anything to have her back.
Your little girl.
If there's any way you can find it in your heart to please release her.
Release her from who, Don? Release her from what, Don? What do you know about your daughter's disappearance? Help us. Help you.
Somehow, I don't know how you might do that. I mean, you're probably scared of going to prison for the rest of your life and everything else, I'm sure. But please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we can get her back. And
So you can get her back from who, Don? Let her go from where, Don? Who are you talking to during this interview?
just please have mercy on her, and and us, and her brothers. She's such a loving, good spirit. Please don't hurt her. Please.
I wish Don and Candus would come out and give us some idea of who Summer was, other than she liked to twirl. We know she's a loving, good spirit. She has a strong spirit. That's what draws all the people to her case.
Let her come home. But my biggest fear is, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something.
Locked in a dungeon or basement. What parents think of this scenario when their child has went missing? Please, anyone, name one parent who has thought that their missing child could be in a dungeon or basement within the first month of them disappearing. Actually, within the first few weeks of her disappearing.
Because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her, unfortunately, her downfall. 'Cause a lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone?"
Being outside was her downfall. I thought she was inside with her brothers and went down to her room to play with her toys. I thought the door was locked. Now we hear she was outside playing. And we know TBI said she disappeared in the early afternoon hours. These statements we know as a fact that she was outside and went missing in the early afternoon hours.
Go get Summer now. And that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person.
The boys have no responsibility of what happened to their sister. Whatever happened to Summer is and was Candace's responsibility. Your boys have been through enough and don't need their father putting such a heavy load on them. Somewhere as parents, you two need to take some accountability for what happened that day.
She'd love to be outside.
Yeah, and I'm so afraid that she's locked away. She's such a loving heart and everything, and I'm afraid that she won't be able to, I'm locked away where she can't be outside or play with a puppy or anything. Love.
Why would your mind go directly to being locked away? To not be able to go outside? To not be able to play with their puppy? Did the puppy leave when Summer left? What the hell happened to this beautiful child of yours?
Nature, and that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility.
Your first national television interview, and you already had given up hope? Don, what do you know that law enforcement doesn't? Why would you say, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility? I just have not seen any other parent who was innocent in what happened to their child say any of these statements you're saying. I have not seen one parent who didn't beg and plead for the safe return of their child. But we've watched you and Candus for the last 19 plus months, not begging, not pleading for your daughter to be returned.
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
When reviewing this, Summer's head shave has always bothered me. But to re-listen to this again, where you say she was a tomboy, I shaved my head and she wanted hers shaved like me and the boys did. And then Dawn says this.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her head
back and make
herself.
it, I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control.
And then, Dawn, you say this right after Candace said that Summer wanted to shave her head to look like Candace and her brothers. And then Dawn says she tried to shave her head herself in the back. I think you can see it in the pictures, and it was out of control. In seconds, the story changes. That Summer wanted to shave her head to look like her mom and her brothers.
So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad.
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
Which is it? Or which was it? Summer wanted to shave her head to be like her mom and the boys? Or Candace shaved her head so Summer wouldn't feel bad? It really doesn't sound like Summer wanted her hair shaved. Period. But the point is, if you'll lie about something so small, what else will you lie about?
And but it didn't bother her at this point.
It didn't bother her at this point. What point? Why would Candace shave hers so Summer wouldn't feel bad if it didn't bother Summer? Come on, you guys. Where is Summer?
Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. You know, I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their, you know, I forget the word.
You said we. Then you said I knew right away she was abducted. How would you know that? What made you think it was an abduction? Why didn't your mind go to she ran off? She's hiding. So many other possibilities that would make sense. But an abduction, it's just strange, some of the words you used.
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess. But I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else, you know, and I feel for them. But
Why would you be sorry? That is their job to help find a missing child. Did you feel bad because you knew what happened to Summer? And you knew that all the people out there looking for your kids weren't going to find her because you knew where she was and they were doing it for nothing.
I just wish there was a way that neighbors could search neighbors' houses, and then if they're not willing, you know, get a search warrant or something. But there's just no way you can search every single house, you know. And
Well, Don, you could have beat on every door in Beach Creek. There was a reason, in my opinion, that Ronnie Lawson had neighbors search their own properties so Summer could be hid until the people responsible could figure out what to do with her down the road. That's never made sense to most people. So, Don, I'm going to ask you flat out, but I know you won't answer. But was Brandon Lawson part of the reason Summer went missing? Who was in the white car that parked down the road who sat there for 3 days? Who was in the black SUV that there's video of coming into Beach Creek? Who was driving the red truck? And who was the young girl in the car that met up with Andy in the black truck at 3:30? These are all questions that if you didn't have nothing to do with the disappearance of your daughter, that you should be finding out. Someone knows what happened to Summer that day. There are people who are hiding a deep, dark secret. And until you come forward, your soul will eat at you, and your life will continue to fall apart. So if you have information on the whereabouts of Summer Moon Utah Wells, you can call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Just know what's done in the dark always comes to light. It may take years, but eventually, if God don't snatch you from this earth, it'll catch up to you. And until next time, you guys.